AITA for telling my stepdad that I'll eat whatever I want in this house because I'm paying for it in front of my stepsisters. I'm 20 meters currently living with my mom full-time since my dad is working out of the country. She has a husband and he has 2 daughters from a previous marriage, 12F and 14F, and my half-sibling, 6M. My mom's husband is unemployed because he was abruptly terminated. Both of them do gigs here and there while he looks for a job, but they barely bring money to the house. I'm in my 2nd year of uni, while working and getting money from my dad every month. I've been paying for most of my stuff, clothes, hobbies, phone bill, etc. ever since I was 16, and when I turned 18, I began to pay rent and for my car. My mom's husband and his daughters are big eaters. I don't mind. I just started to buy my own groceries, and they knew they weren't allowed to have any, though. I'd let my stepsisters take some of my snacks because I get their kids, but ever since 3 or 4 months ago, my mom has been asking me to buy this, buy that, buy this again, and I've been doing their groceries too, so I'm basically paying for all of the food, plus rent, plus driving my stepsister to and from school, and among other things. Yesterday we were having dinner together and I remembered I'd bought a watermelon a few days ago. It was almost all gone, but I could eat the last of it, and it was okay. My stepsister said she wanted some too, and I said there was barely anything left, and she could have an apple of something. She said she wanted watermelon, and I said sorry. My mom's husband said kids go first, but I said kids have been eating watermelon for the past days, and it was my turn. He looked me dead in the eye and said, "Put it back, son. You can eat something else," so I just said I'll be eating whatever I want because I was paying for it. Nobody said anything after that and I took it to my room. Later my mom came and apologized for him, but said that I shouldn't have said anything in front of my sisters and was rude because I was being financially abusing with my family, so IDK? NTA. They're financially abusing you. Funny how good parasites are at projecting. NTA, he was rude to you in front of everyone, and you gave it right back. If you are paying for everything, you need to move out. I know, but at the same time I'm worried about my stepsis and my baby brother. I don't want anything bad happening to them, and I'm able to help. I just don't like being treated like a kid when I think I'm pulling my weight well enough. I get that, but consider that they might need you more in the future. You're an easy target RN, but well-adjusted people don't shove their weight around so much. NTA. You're financially abusing them when you're paying for everything. Lol. Sounds like it's time to move out. I imagine living on your own or with a roommate is going to be less expensive than paying rent and feeding a family of 4. In this situation, the person who is not paying started making demands though. Very unreasonable demands. That stepson has to provide for the whole family. Stepson is not allowed to eat a single piece of watermelon he bought. Op didn't willingly take over all the payments. The payments were forced on him. I am pretty sure he would be happy if the payments were shared as they should be. Op is totally financially abused here. NTA. If I were you, I'd be looking for a different place to live. They had the nerve to say that you are financially abusing them. Fine, if they want to throw that term around, tell them that you've decided to move out so that they don't feel like you're financially abusing them anymore. If anybody in this situation has the right to make that accusation, it's you. I doubt that it will get any better unless you remove yourself from the situation. Info. The money you have that you are using for bills and groceries that benefit you, mom, South Dakota and family is the money your dad gives you or from a job. It sounds like your dad is financing his ex's family through you. NTA though, you aren't holding money over their head in a manipulative manner. You are being reasonable. AITA for refusing to share my bed with my Bill even though his kids were sleeping in it. My F30 sister F35 passed away 2 months ago. She has 2 kids, 3 and 5, and I help take care of them by either visiting Bill's house or have them come over to mine. Days ago, Bill left the kids with me for the day, then called in the evening, asking if I could have them stay with me for the night. I of course agreed. The kids and I fell asleep while we were reading a story and then at 1 a.m. I woke up to some noise. I opened my eyes and saw my Bill slowly climbing in bed. I freaked out asking what he was doing. He tried to calm me down, then said that he saw the kids were with me and wanted to join us. This did not sit right with me. I was confused. I asked how he thought this was an appropriate thing to do, and he again said that his kids were there, so he didn't think I'd mind him being with them. I felt extremely uncomfortable. I got up and asked him to please leave the room, but he objected, saying, "I can't keep him away from his kids." I told him that I'd have the kids join him in a minute. He eventually walked out. He had the kids get dressed and took them home after calling what I did unnecessarily cruel and rude. Next day I tried to call to check on the kids, but he was still upset, saying they were asleep after I interrupted their sleep by refusing to let him join us in bed. I hung up and felt so many things all at once. I told my mom and she said I had to apologize for how I behaved towards my grieving Bill. AITA for saying no? NTA. You weren't keeping him from his children, you were keeping him from creeping into your bed while you slept. I can understand that everyone's going through a really hard time right now, so maybe he doesn't understand what he did, but that doesn't make you Tahir. NTA. Absolutely effing not. That man is trying to slide right into bed as if you are his dead wife, your sister, and he doesn't see a problem with that. That is not a mistake, that was a tactical move to see how far he could push you boundaries and see how much you'll allow during a vulnerable time, half asleep. One does not simply climb into bed with your wife's sister because she's withholding me from my kids if she doesn't say yes. Firm boundaries need to put in place now. This situation needs to be discussed. You were right to have all alarm bells go off. NTA. I am sorry for your loss. Edit. Changing tactile to tactical. This 1000%. Your Bill need grief therapy. This is not okay in any way, shape or form. Tell him in no uncertain terms that he is not welcome in your bed, ever. You handled this correctly, waking up the kids, which is even a bigger red flag and reason he needs help. Anyone in their right mind would let the kids sleep and go sleep on the couch. He put himself wanting to sleep with his children, and probably you, ahead of what was best for them. If he ever asks you to watch the kids again, have a hard stop time of 10 p.m. because you never want a repeat of him in your bed. His grieving does not trump any woman's boundaries. Would he have tried the same thing with a teen babysitter? I sure the hell hope not. NTA, but your Bill absolutely is an If he complains about you waking up the kids again, tell him that was his choice because he effing tried to crawl in bed with you. NTA. This is not okay. Grief makes people do strange things, but the second you said no, it should have been respected. This is extremely creepy. NTA. What? So if I am understanding this right, he snuck into your home in the middle of the night and was going to crawl into bed? Excuse me? On what planet is that acceptable behavior? I feel for the fact that he just lost his wife, but to say that was grief clouding his judgment would only work if he wasn't about getting rejected. He knew what he was doing, crossed a line, now he is trying to flip the script. It sounds to me like he is trying to use you as a replacement wife. It's common in these situations, especially because you are taking on a lot of the mother role. Good for you for drawing that hard line and stick to it. He needs to apologize to you, not the other way around. NTA, at all you handled it as you should have. In no world is this normal. Not at all, he was way out of line. Just because his kids are on your bed, which you consented to, he shouldn't have got on the bed without your consent, since you're on it, and that too, asleep. The fact that he said can't keep him away from the kids and called you rude and cruel and blamed you the next day for not letting him on the bed gives you all the answers you need. He was way out of line, and I'd suggest to always be aware of this guy's intentions as long as you guys are in touch. Edit. Also, if you read this, disregard anyone who says you need to apologize or saying you reacted harshly. There's nothing normal about what he did. Kids or no kids in between, he completely crossed a line and then guilt-tripped you. He is an asshole. AITA for calling my sister an insensitive bitch after she stole my daughter's name? 3 years ago I gave birth to a little girl who only lived for 19 hours. It was a traumatic experience for me, and one I struggle with to this day, and the pain of her loss led to my ex-boyfriend and I splitting up as we couldn't stand to be together anymore. Her name is not a family name, she was called Coraline with Iris as her middle name. My ex-boyfriend and I just each picked a name we liked. My younger sister recently had a daughter, and she kept the name a secret from everyone until it was legal. I didn't think twice about this until the name went online in an announcement, Iris Coraline. She took both my daughter's names and just swapped the order. If she'd only taken one of the names to try and honor my daughter and made a middle name, I wouldn't be upset, but this felt deliberate, and the fact she hid it from everyone makes it even worse. I went to her home to demand to know what she was playing at with this, and she got offended, telling me she'd always thought the names were beautiful and she'd swapped the order so I shouldn't be upset. This led to an argument with shouting on both ends. Finally, I called her an insensitive bitch before I left and ended up crying a lot when I got home. Everyone in the family is uncomfortable with this name choice, but many think I took it too far to go round to her house and start a fight when she's recovering from giving birth. Our mother has told me that there is no changing it now and to just consider it a nice way to keep my daughter's names alive, but that just feels even worse to me. I might be too close to all of this, and it is a traumatic matter for me. Did I go too far? NTA. She expected you to react negatively, which is why she kept it secret, yet instead of asking you or tactfully telling you, she sets you up to find out on social media after it is permanent. This is so insensitive, absurd, a cry for attention, and downright fucked up. It is ridiculous. I'm sorry this is happening to you. This isn't a way to remember your child. BC, she would have asked and told you that. She is stealing the name and being shameless about it. Again, I'm sorry. I hope she realizes her huge mistake, but it sounds like the classic case of the youngest sibling who just gets whatever she wants in general, and everyone around just conforms to the BS. NTA, excuse me? She should have asked permission first of all. But hiding it until it was legal and not easily changed was 10,000% deliberate. I agree, calling then first name and then have a middle name be either Iris or Coraline in honor of your baby would be acceptable, still with permission. How did she think you would feel when her child came to family events and you had to relive that trauma over and over again? Absolutely did not take that far at all. Her recovering from birth is not an excuse to not explain her heartless actions to you. Wait a little bit if you want to, but you deserve an explanation. Her thinking the swap would not make you at least uncomfortable is bullshit. I'm so sorry she put you through this. The fact that she went out of her way to hide it from you implies she knows she was wrong, and this entire ruse was never meant to last. Taking one of the names? Fine, you don't own those names. But taking both of them? That's just deliberate and feels cruel. NTA, op, and I'm so sorry for your loss. Also, it can definitely still be changed. The kid doesn't know her name yet. It was deliberate and cruel. And although op struggles daily with such a devastating loss, now it will be shoved in her face at every family event, constantly hearing her daughter's name and seeing what could have been. Deliberate and cruel. I don't normally jump straight to no contact, but this is definitely a situation that calls for it. Op, your grief and mental health matter, even if your so-called sister doesn't give a shit. Block her and anyone else that is telling you to get over it. I'm so sorry for the loss of your daughter. NTA.